Hey there, how's it going today? We are here at the Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds. I was going to say North Georgia, but yeah, we are pretty much in extreme North Georgia, right at the Georgia-North Carolina line here in Hiawassee, Georgia, for their rod run. This is the first time I've heard of this event, and it started yesterday, goes through today, so they're building something here that's going to be like an all weekend long event. Let's start heading. Oh, I want to look at this first though. Probably the biggest steam engine I have ever seen in my life. Look at this flywheel. This thing's huge. But yeah, let's get inside and start checking out these rides. So before we walk into the gates, there were some vehicles outside here, and I wanted to start out with this one here. This is a 1950 Ford. My very first vehicle was a 1949 Ford F1 with a flathead 6 in it. So yeah, let's start with this beauty right here. I just saw this thing last weekend in Dalton, Georgia for their hot rod show. I love this thing. The color on it's beautiful. Open top, man, this beautiful flathead engine. Oh my gosh. Yeah, at first I said it was cool how they had them set up in these stalls, but it does make shooting them a little difficult, so I switched over to kind of like a fisheye angle lens, or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully this doesn't look too bad, but this truck is amazing. And he just had it running, and it smells good with the exhaust.
Smile for the camera, your camera. Probably my favorite Mustang is the 69. I love the quad headlights up front and this little vent that actually does nothing other than look good. But yeah, as a kid, or actually up until a couple of years ago, my grandfather had a 69 Mustang yellow. I loved that car. loved these little Ford Falcons and the Chevy 2s when I was a kid. We used to race dirt track stock cars, and one year we built a 64 Falcon. And then once I grew up and was driving myself, I actually owned a 65 Nova at one time. So yeah, I love these early American compacts. So a little while back I was at the Savoy Auto Museum, and they had a Studebaker exhibit, and I had mentioned that Studebaker made some cool cars, but then they also made some questionable cars, kind of like this thing here. I don't know, man. Check out this Jeep. This thing is wild. Oh man, I wonder if that fan adds boost.
Hiawassee Rod Run.
There's one little detail on this Pontiac I wanted to point out, but first we're gonna get a good shot of it around. It's an older restoration, but it still looks good. But I wanted to point this out on this car right here. You see body by Fisher, if it'll come into focus. But yeah, I remember my mom's Cutlass had a badge on her car as you open the door down by the rocker panel, said body by Fisher. Yeah, I dig this Pontiac. Okay, so we saw this vet pulling in, and you heard it as well. It sounded good. Man, this thing is sharp. You can tell it's an older restoration, but man, it is held up. It still looks great. This event is a little hilly, so be prepared to get your steps in. It's not too hot yet. I am schwitzing a little bit, but the scenery here is totally worth it. Down here by the lake. Nice. So here we have a 59 Chevy pickup. I absolutely love it when they swapped over the quad headlights on the front. Looks so good. But yeah, this thing is sharp. Nice deep green paint. And it's done very, very well. I absolutely love these Ford Skyliners, the hard tops that retract back into the trunk. And I know the people's complaints, oh, but, well, I'll give you a shot here in the trunk. And people, oh, but you got no room to store anything in that trunk. You don't buy this car to haul things. You buy this car to look good. were to ask me why I love these Torinos, I could not give you an answer because technically they're so damned ugly. But I absolutely love these things with this fastback design. Kind of like the old Barracudas and Chargers as well. Those things were hideously ugly, but I love them. And when I think of a GTO Judge, this is the color I think of. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this. This thing is stunningly beautiful. I love these things. And basically, I remember Dazed and Confused. That one dude had a GTO Judge just like this. I mean, who doesn't love one of these old Rancheros or the El Caminos? This thing is sharp. Nice color. You can tell it's an older restoration as well. But yeah, it looks good. Check out what's under the hood. Nice. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here at the Hiawassee Rod Run in Hiawassee, Georgia on this beautiful Falcon wagon. This thing is wild. I love it. Do a little bit more than pick up groceries in this thing. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Thanks for stopping by, checking out the video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you around next time. Later. So I was trying to get out of here. There's Ruby sitting over there, but this thing grabbed my eye out here in the parking lot. This thing is wild. I love it. Definitely a shaggin' wagon. A little too dark, but